The whole thing.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, Roy out on another adventure. You know what I really like about the YouTube channel, and you'll see it from our German trip, is to bring other people into this, because I have to say, there's times when I just get tired of me. You know, I like to introduce and talk with others, and I learn so much from them, so I go back to being selfish. It's about learning and understanding what other people are doing so I can bring that into my practices, best practices. So today we're at Intrinsic Nursery, which I love being here. It's only about 25 minutes from Northwind, across the Illinois border. And we've done some YouTube before with Brent. But when I get here, it's like being on vacation, because it's totally the same, but yet totally different than Northwind, because there's so many beautiful plants here that I am trying to use in different patterns and plantings. So today we're going to talk about ornamental grasses, and Brent's going to do most of the talking. I'm actually done. I'm going to introduce you to Brent. He's going to tell you about what's coming up in grass days, and take it away, Brent.
Yeah, so we're having our 9th annual International Ornamental Grass Day on September 15th, and it's a good time to see the ornamental grasses peaking. Lots of them have fall color, many are in bloom. And so I pulled out a few of our ornamental grasses that have been bred here at Intrinsic, and you'll be able to see, if not in person, at a local garden center or in gardens. But I wanted to just maybe point out a few things about these different ornamental grasses. They're all big blue stems. One's called Blackhawks. Blackhawks is probably our most popular. It's 5 foot tall in the garden. Has near black fall color. And
it is dark. Yeah, I have to say it's very dark. It's very cool. Good contrasting plant. And it stays vertical.
Yep.
Even in richer soils, it doesn't just collapse.
Yeah, that's the beauty of getting a shorter form, big blue stem. Many in the prairie are 7 to 8 feet tall, and they can lodge or
they just kind of fall over. Yeah.
Especially in rich soil.
So let me ask you too, how long did it take to come up with Blackhawk? How many years of doing did that take?
It's a good question. I think, you know, probably 5 to 7 years from the time I had a unnamed seedling to its parent, and then a seedling again. It was for sure 5 to 6 years minimum.
See, I like that because it's patience. You can't rush a product out when you're dealing with living things.
Yeah, I've been working on fountain grasses for 23 years.
See? Patience, everybody. That's gardening is the joy of doing, not the joy of always having. It's the joy of doing. And look at, and Brent's a good example with his patience. He got beautiful grasses coming out of here, very beautiful. And garden value. That's the best part too. They can actually go in the garden and live. That's too good. Yeah.
Yeah. So the two other big blue stems we have here, another one is called Holy Smoke, and this one's a little more to the natural size. It's 7 foot, depending on site and soil in the garden. But it has this kind of silver to blue foliage, and then on top of that you get the purple and red fall color. So it's a real nice combination, especially going into fall.
Is that available now?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
It's fairly widely grown. We have growers on the West Coast, growers on the East Coast, and here in the Midwest.
That's very good. Any other things coming up or things you'd like to share? What about old grasses? What are some of the good old grasses? I know I still grow Panicum Heiliger.
Yep.
Vertical, nice red fall color. It doesn't lean over that much as some of the other Panicums. And that, I think, was introduced by Ernst Pagels in the 60s. So is there any older grasses that you think still?
It's a great question. One of my first was Pennisetum redhead. It kind of made me want to breed Pennisetums. Pennisetum rubrum, which is an annual, was very popular in the trade at the time. And I was thinking we could do something like that was perennial, but that hasn't quite happened after 23 years, but I'm still working on it.
Persistence.
Yeah.
That's another gardening characteristic is persistence. So we're finding out a lot about who we actually are, but sometimes it's hard to become who we truly are. But I think living and growing and gardening with plants brings you in that direction. I think it's pretty cool that you, and it seems like you sell a lot of grasses, so it's popular.
Yeah, it's about 20% of our business.
Wow, that's
and
very good.
Potentially more. You know, I have more big blue stems coming. I've still been breeding them, but the supply chain is still catching up with demand.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
in the future, we will have more silvered ones. We'll have shorter ones. We'll have more combinations of silver, purple,
Wow.
blue, red.
And that's great for the future of planting.
Mm-hmm.
Because once they find out about this, everyone's curious about what's next.
Right.
Yeah, that's very. What's that new little blue stem you have? I know.
Oh yeah, we've got 2 new little blue stems this year. One is called Little Red Fox.
That's the one.
So
Okay.
it's closer in size to Jazz, which is going to be 2 to 3 feet depending on site and soil.
Mm-hmm.
Stays upright in the winter. In the case of Little Red Fox, it has a lot of colors in it. It kind of starts out blue-green or gray-green, and then quickly already in July, August, it starts to bolt and
Wow.
flower.
Yeah.
And in those stems, you have silver, purple, red,
Wow.
and they just get better and better as you go into fall.
Mm-hmm. So it's a subtle but dynamic backdrop or interplanting for some of the perennials as they come and go in bloom.
Yeah,
That's
Chicago Botanic Garden just planted 500 in their
Wow.
parking lot,
Wow.
and they're already looking
Yeah,
really
yeah.
nice.
So they discovered that right away, didn't they? Yeah.
They did.
That's very cool.
Mhm.
Anything? I'm going to bring up the yellow spirabolus.
Yeah, we've been working on
Yeah.
a gold-leaved prairie drop seed. So likely in the wholesale end of things, we'll start selling it in 2025. But locally, it should be available at garden centers in 2025. But this one is all gold. The foliage doesn't have any green in it, so it stays gold. We had one briefly with a, a green edge, but that was reverting to green
Oh, okay.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So this one is exciting. It's quite
Yeah. Oh,
bright
yeah,
in the
yeah.
spring.
And when I saw it, I thought, well, okay, that's cool. That's gold. Nice, nice yellow. How about perennial-wise? I know we're talking about grasses, but I know you have some perennials coming out again with garden value. That's always the key.
Yeah.
Some of the fashion plants are cool when you go see them at Home Depot, but they don't know how to live in our climate, in our region. So we do have to be regional, because fashion plants are good, but they're not good here. They might be good in Georgia, but you've got some.
Yeah, I mean, our Rudbeckia American Gold Rush,
Yep,
which is
that's-
hard to beat. It's PPA Plant of the Year for 2023. It was an AAS winter in 2020, and it's widely available in the U.S. and parts of the world. So, and it's a great plant. It's easy to propagate. It's easy to grow. It's easy to garden with.
Right, and it's more forgiving to soil conditions too.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get septoria leaf spot like Rudbeckia Goldstrom,
Right.
which you can't help it.
Right.
That's just the way it is now, since it was overused for 40 years. And the other one was it's Aster Hybrid Chicago.
Yeah. So
That's nice.
A kind of sky blue to lavender blue color, starting to bud and bloom now.
Nice size flowers. It's not really tall. It's a modest size. And it'd be cool around the lake here in Lake Geneva with deer issues. The deer don't eat it.
Yeah.
So it's a big plus to use for a fall color here around the lake in September to early October.
Goes really
Yeah,
nice with
yeah.
grasses.
Yeah.
The common name is aromatic aster. That kind of tells you about the foliage being aromatic and less palatable for deer.
Yeah, it's a handy plant, plus it's very attractive with the grasses.
Heavy bloom.
Yeah. I think anything else? Any other plants that we...
I mean, going back to the black-eyed Susans, we have more. We have one called Sweet as Honey, which is my
Nice,
favorite.
yeah.
It's more to the yellow side.
Yep,
It
yeah.
almost looks like a dwarf Missouriensis.
Yeah.
So it's just about 18 inches average. grows really well in the gravel garden.
You're right. It has a more yellow flower, which
Yeah.
is
And smaller
works.
altogether.
Yeah.
Smaller foliage, smaller flowers, but lots of them.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered a lot, and thanks everybody for hanging in there with us. And I'm excited to be here and have fun gardening.